Today we are going to the decastration of the poem Ode to Autumn by John Keats. Now, Ode to Autumn is basically a nature poem where poet John Keats has unfolded different aspects of season autumn. With his rich sensuousness and imagination, he has personified autumn in various human forms like harvester, reaper, gleaner, cider presser. We all know that John Keats belonged to Romantic era. He wrote many romantic poems. Now, Ode to Autumn is basically a romantic poem where we find many romantic traits like sensuousness, imagination, reference of Greek literature in Ode to Autumn. Ode to Autumn is the last and in some respects the most impeccable ode that Keats wrote. It was actually written on 19 September 1819, and Keats wrote to another English poet, John Hamilton Reynolds, about the magnificence of this season autumn. He was impressed by the season autumn and he wrote to John Hamilton Reynolds how beautiful the season is now, how fine the air. And this was the inspiration of writing this ode to. Now we will go through the every line of the ode to autumn and we will try to get the meaning and the explanation of each line of ode to autumn. First line of the poem: season of mists and mellow fruitfulness. Season of mist. The season actually refers to the season of autumn. The season of mist and mellow fruitfulness. Actually, mellow fruitfulness means soft and ripe fruits. Autumn is a season which helps the fruits to ripen from the very core. That is why autumn is called the season of mist and mellow fruitfulness. Close bosom friend of the maturing sun. Very close friend to the sun. Actually, autumn, the season autumn, in cooperation with the sun, helps the fruits to ripen. That is why sun is considered as a close bosom friend of the season autumn. So, season of mist and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatched eaves run. Conspiring with him, that is, in collaboration with the sun, autumn is helping the fruits to ripen. The sun that ripens the fruit is in collaborating with the season that helps the fruits to ripen from the very core. Autumn is acting in cooperation with the sun. That is why the poet says, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines. Vines means grapefruits that round the thatched eaves run. Actually, thatched eaves means the vines which are hanging from the edges of the roofs of the thatched cottage. The vine keepers run along the edges of the roofs of the thatched cottage. To bend with apples the mossed cottage trees. Actually, in autumn, branches of apple trees are often bowed nearly to the ground with the weight of their fruits. And mossed cottage trees means moss covered trees actually growing around the cottage. So that is why the poet says, to bend the apples the mossed cottage trees and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core. Actually, the season autumn, in cooperation with the sun, make the fruits ripen thoroughly from the very core. To swell the gourd means is a pumpkin fruit. We all know that. To swell the gourd and plump the hazel cells with sweet kernel. Actually, to soil the god means actually increase the, here actually autumn helps to increase the size of the pumpkin fruit, and plump the hazel cells with a sweet kernel. Actually, the season autumn increases the size of the pumpkin fruit and fill the cell of the hazelnut with a sweet kernel. Kernel means the soft part within the cell of a nut. Kernel means the soft part within the cell of a nut. To set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees. Here, the season autumn conspires with the sun to help the flowers to bloom more and more. And the bees, which are hovering over the flowers, they think that the warm sunny days in the summer is still continuing. To set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees until they think warm days will never cease, for summer has overbrimmed their clammy cells. As here we see that as the more flowers is still blooming, and the bees which are hovering over the flowers, naturally they think that the summer days is still continuing. As a result, the sticky cells of the honeycomb is overflowing with honey. So, in the first stanza of the poem, we see that the poet describes the season autumn as a fruitfulness, as a ripeness of all the fruits, as a season of bounty. Autumn is the season of mist and ripe fruits. The autumnal sun causes all sorts of fruits like grapes, apples, gourds, and nuts to ripen and become sweet and juicy. The flowers in autumn still continues to bloom in this season, and the bees which hovers over the flowers, they begin to think that the summer is yet continuing and will never come to an end. Next, second stanza. Who had not seen thee? Thee means here thee refers to season autumn. Who hath not seen thee oft amid thy store? Store means here occupations. Sometimes whoever seeks about may find thee sitting carelessly on a greenery floor. Here, the poet actually personifies the autumn as a harvester. The harvester who may be found may be found sitting carelessly on a greenery floor after doing some harvesting job. She is taking rest on a greenery floor. So here we find the season autumn is personified in concrete human forms as a harvester who is taking rest after doing some harvesting job. Thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind. The hair of the harvester is separated, is ruffled by the gentle wind. Or on a half-raped furrow, sound asleep. Maybe we find the harvester is feeling the drowsiness, drowsed with the fume of poppies. Actually, opium is often some kind of poppies flower, and opium creates a sensation of drowsiness. So, with the effect of fragrance, fume means fragrance. With the effect of fragrance of poppies, the harvester is found asleep on the greenery floor. She may be feeling the drowsiness with the effect of the fragrance of poppies. While thy hook spares next word and all its twain flowers. Hook means scythe, an instrument which is used to cut the corn. We find that the harvester is feeling the drowsiness So she is taking rest, leaving her harvesting job for a while. She is keeping the sky tea next to the row of corn which is going to be cut later, and the flowers entangled with the stalks of grain. And sometimes, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook. A gleaner means one who gathers the scattered stalks of grain after reaping. And sometimes, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook. Brooks mean a small river. Here we find that the season autumn is again personified in human forms as a gleaner. The gleaner is found crossing a brook with the bundle of stalks of grain on her head, or by a cider press with patient look thou watchest the blast oozing hours by hours. Here again, autumn is personified as a cider presser. Cider press means a machine to extract juice from the fruits. So, the season autumn is personified as a cider presser who is patiently, hours after hours, extracting the juice. So, in the second stanza, the poet describes the different occupations of the season autumn as embodied in different personalities, as a reaper, as a gleaner, as a cider presser. We find the harvester is sitting carelessly on a greenery floor with her hair ruffled by the gentle wind. The gleaner is found crossing a brook, balancing the bundle of stalk on her head. The cider presser is found sitting and watching the apple juice oozing hour after hour. Next, the third stanza of the poem. Where are the songs of spring? Ah, where are they? Think not of them, thou hast thy music too. Here we see that the poet mentioned the songs of the spring. Actually, mentioning the song of the spring does not capture the poet's mood of dissatisfaction with the songs of the autumn. Later, we see that the poet expresses his conviction that the autumn has its music, and which is not less sweeter than the songs of the spring. That is why the poet says, where are the songs of spring? Where are they? Think not of them, thou hast thy music too. While bird clouds bloom the soft dying day. Blood clouds mean the clouds that creates a white lines in the sky. That is called bird clouds. While bird clouds bloom, soft dying day. Soft dying day means soft dying day, that is the day that is quietly passing away. Soft dying day, and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. Stubble plains means the cornfields from which the corn has been reaped, and only the uh, end part of the stalks remain on the field. That is called stubble plains. Here the poet actually suggests that the sky with clouds and the stubble plains are lit up with the soft rosy color of the setting sun. Then in a wailful choir, the small gnats mourn among the river's shallows. Here we see that the poet Keats mentioned the song and the music of the season autumn. First, he mentioned the morning song of the gnats, which can be heard among the surfs from the river sides. Then in a wailful choir, the small gnats mourn among the river swallows, borne aloft or sinking as the light wind leaves or dies. Borne aloft or sinking, actually the poet means that the humming sound of the gnats is carried high when the light wind blows, and it sings when the light wind ceases to blow. Next, and full grown lambs loud bleat from Hilly Brown. Next, the poet mentions the sounds of the bleating sound of the lambs, which can be heard from some hilly region. Bounds mean region. Hedge crickets sing. Here again, the poet mentioned the song of the crickets among the hedges. And now with the treble soft. Treble actually is a musical term meaning high pitch, and treble soft means the high pitch note and which is soft. And now with treble soft, the red breast whistle from a garden crotch. The note of the red robin, which is at once high, bold, and soft, and it can be heard from the garden adjoining to a dwelling place. And gathering swallows twitter in the skies. Gathering swallows, actually, the swallows who gathered together for their annual migration also twitter in the skies. So, in the third stanza, the poet describes the various music of autumn. The music of autumn is not less sweet than that of spring, and the sound and the music of autumn is presented through the music and sounds of nerds by the riverside, the bleating of grown-up lambs from some hilly regions, and the shrill chirping of the crickets among the hedges, and the whistling of the robin redbreast in the house garden, and the twittering of the swallows in the sky. And the poet expresses that all these sounds and music of autumn is equally beautiful and sweet like the songs and the music of spring.